So the Atlanta Hawks and the Atlanta Falcons both have problems, but I want to talk about my Falcons first. Then I'm going to get to the Hawks. Atlanta Sports Chronicle Part 2. I did a Part 1 a long time ago. I decided to bring it back because it was so successful. And before I get into this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn notification bells. Help me out a little bit. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, the Atlanta Falcons on the first hand, man, they're terrible. Like, straight up, they are terrible. They lost to a 1-11 Carolina Panthers team. They had one win coming into the game. And I would like to make this clear. This is not going to be, or it's not meant to be a blame on Arthur Smith. This is not meant to end his career in any way. But man, he's terrible, man. Like, straight up, he's terrible. What was good about this season? I'll start with the good. The Atlanta Falcons defense is really well improved. The last 2 years, they looked horrible. Straight up, they've looked horrible. This year, they're only allowing 18 points per game. The Falcons finally also have an all-pro DB. Jessie Bates has been a 100% amazing addition this season. Jessie Bates has been the best safety in the NFL. He's an all-pro. The guy is a straight-up 100% amazing football player. Another thing is that Bijan Robinson is him. Drake London is him. And they're both showing flashes of being really good players. They're super talented. And to me, it makes no sense whatsoever why Bijan Robinson does not see more carries. That dude has 700 yards on the ground right now with the limited carries he has. If you gave him number one running back carries, imagine the amount of production that could come out of that talent, man. Imagine, like, why does Bijan Robinson not have over 1,000 rushing yards right now? Why is this dude having to fight 4 carries? And granted, Tyler Algier is a great running back too, but why is Algier fighting for carries with Bijan Robinson when Bijan is clearly the more talented back? It does not make sense to me. Why is Drake London, your 6'5" wide receiver that you decided to spend a first-round pick, a top 10 pick on, why is he not seeing at least 10 targets a game? From what I know, a number one wide receiver sees 10 targets a game. A number one wide receiver gets 5 to 6, 7, 8 catches a game. We are not doing that with Drake London. Granted, I know that the quarterbacking has not been all at its best. But for you to not even be able to scheme up as a head coach, you can't even scheme things and plays that get your best players open, I think that is also an issue. Now, going back to the positive, another thing is that our defensive line seems to be one dominant pass rusher away from being easily the best in the NFL. The Atlanta Falcons D-line has seen a lot of injuries. Grady Jarrett, who is my guy, who I met in high school. Grady Jarrett, who, and I met him at I didn't go to high school, Grady Jarrett. I want to get that clear. I met him at an event that I ended up hosting. He was injured this season. You had a lot of players get injured, but Grady Jarrett's the biggest injury. Everybody stepped up on that Falcons D-line. That Atlanta D-line has been probably the highlight of our season so far, and they're one dominant edge rusher away from being one of the best in the NFL very easily. So that's the good things about Atlanta, the semi-good things anyway, depending on the way you look at it. For me, I won't really look at it as good because at the end of the day, dog, you just lost to a team that had one win, and you're literally the definition of, I won't say mid, you're below mid if you're the Atlanta Falcons. You're bad. You're bid. You're not mid. You're below whatever mid is if you're the Atlanta Falcons. Now, getting into the negative about the season, the Falcons need a number one receiving threat, man. If you are going to be an elite football team in the NFL, you need a wide receiver that can be your go-to guy. When all goes wrong, you got to go to this dude. It can't be your tight end. It can't be somebody who can't gain separation. It can't be somebody that you have no confidence in. The Atlanta Falcons, whether it's via trade, free agency, or even the draft, you have got to find a bona fide number one wide receiver. And while Drake London has been good, we haven't shown any confidence in him. We don't throw to the guy enough. We don't throw to Kyle Pitts enough. So find a number one receiver. Find somebody that you are sure you can use at any moment during a football game. Whether it's the first quarter or whether it's the fourth quarter and you need a game-winning touchdown. You need a number one wide receiver. Another thing that's bad has been the play calling, man. The play calling's been straight up terrible. I'll be honest. The play calling is terrible. Arthur Smith will not get, by any circumstance, he just does not seem to know how to get his playmakers the ball. That last game against the Carolina Panthers, Bijan Robinson, first round pick, running back, 10 carries. The week before, 10 carries. Why is your best, far and away, your most talented running back you've had in maybe the last 10 seasons, Why is he not getting number one running back carries? Why are you not giving him the opportunity to be an Alvin Kamara? Why are you not giving him the opportunity to be a CMC? Why are you not giving him the opportunity to be a Saquon Barkley? I don't know the rebuttal for this argument. The rebuttal is going to be, well, the Atlanta Falcons don't have a good offensive line. Why run the ball anyway? Last time I checked, the Giants ain't had that good of an offensive line either. Do you see them limiting the carries of Saquon Barkley? No, you don't. Chuba Hubbard, the Panthers, they don't have a great offensive line either. Hubbard got 15 to 20 carries against the Atlanta Falcons last week behind that Panthers O-line. The Atlanta Falcons had 2 Pro Bowlers on their O-line. It was Caleb McGarry and Chris Lindstrom. Those were 2 Pro Bowlers on their O-line last season. You cannot tell me that those young guys are getting worse. You cannot tell me that offensive line has gotten that much worse. That is just an excuse, if you ask me. Just an excuse to try and cover up for the mistakes that Arthur Smith has made. You've got to give your best running back the ball, no matter the circumstance. Now, the Falcons also need a quarterback, and I understand that. Desmond Ridder has been awful. 100%. I agree. Desmond Ridder has been awful this season. He is not ready to start at the NFL level. Desmond Ridder needs to be a backup somewhere, man. He needs to go somewhere. He needs to reset. He needs to rejuvenate, because I think Ridder's solid. I think he's got the potential to be a lesser Dak Prescott. But right now, the dude's just not ready to be a starter in the NFL, and that's just the fact of the reality of the situation. Now, going to our last thing, as I mentioned, Atlanta needs a pass rusher. A pass rusher that can get you, 10 to 12 sacks per season. Right now, that's not there, straight up. Grady Jarrett cannot be the best pass rusher on your football team. As much as I love him, as much as we went to the same high school and I met him, that is the truth. Grady Jarrett is a intricate and very important piece to a team with a great pass rush. But the dude cannot be your number one only pass rusher. You need to give the guy some help. You need to get him other guys on the defensive line that can cause pressure. And granted, Atlanta's been better with that this season, but you still need a superstar lineman that can go on and get you 10 to 12 sacks a year. Atlanta has not had that since Vic Beasley. Now, going to my reasoning, why in the world, Michael, would you fire Arthur Smith? For one, the guy has shown no progress. He's been mediocre all 3 seasons that he's been the head coach. You have had 4 quarterbacks to choose from. All 4 of them you have found no success in. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a coaching problem. That is not a quarterbacking problem. He also does not know how to use his weapons at all. Bijan Robinson getting 10 carries despite clearly, ever so clearly, being by far the best back that the Atlanta Falcons, maybe the best player that the Atlanta Falcons have on the offensive side of the ball. Number 3, and this could go all the way up to ownership, they are too gosh darn conservative. Way too conservative. We never throw the ball downfield. We play everything safe. If you want to win games in the NFL, the 49ers, the Cowboys, any great team, you've got to be willing to take chances. You cannot have a conservative offense and a conservative defense. You got to be willing to put the ball downfield. Why is Kyle Pitts not getting a jump ball in the red zone? Dog, he's 6'6", and you spent a 4th overall pick on him. 6'6", 250. And you don't want to throw the ball up to him in the red zone. Come on. It's common sense, right? I know I can't be the only one who sees this. He is 6'6", 250. Why are you not throwing Pitts the ball in a one-on-one situation against a cornerback? Same with who am I talking about? Drake London. Same with Drake London. 6'5", 200 plus pounds. Throw the man a jump ball. Be willing to make mistakes. I think the offense is way too conservative. I think it's way too predictable. And number 4, he's struggling to win in what's easily the worst division in football. Look, man, no matter how much you put it, the Saints are terrible. The Saints are terrible. The Carolina Panthers, are terrible. The Buccaneers are maybe, at best, the Buccaneers are an above-average football team. At best. They're an above-average team who's going to go into the playoffs and have a chance at an upset. But let's be honest, they're probably going to get blasted by somebody because they're going to have to play an away game in the playoffs if they make it past the first round, of course. Guys, this is the worst division in football. And you have a head coach who is struggling to win in this division. I think it's terrible. And whether it be coaching, whether it be a cultural change needed, whether it be anything, I think Atlanta needs a change. I think the Falcons need to get rid of the head coach, and I think they need to completely reset. The team has no direction right now. The only thing worse than a losing team is a team with no direction, guys. If you have a team, you can have a team that sucks, bad, like the Panthers, but at least they get a high pick in the draft. Or at least, in this case, the Bears get their high pick. But same difference. A team that's bad, they get a high pick in the draft. Or you can have a team that's good. You're competing for a Super Bowl. Congratulations. The worst place to be is in the middle. The middle is the worst place to be if you are in any professional league. You're not good. You're not bad. You're just mid. Like your 11th overall pick, 15th overall pick. They may become a star, but it's not top end talent here. And you're not competing for a Super Bowl here. So what are you doing? The Atlanta Falcons need direction in this franchise, and I think as long as they have their head coach right here, and I think as long as they continue to manage the way the team's being managed, that's exactly what this team's going to be. You're going to get a middle-of-the-pack effort, a middle-of-the-pack team, and have a middle-of-the-pack record. Now, going to my Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young's been playing like a madman, y'all. Trae Young's averaging 28 and 11 this season, and it's crazy how he can do so much and not be talked about. Everybody wants to talk about dude from Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton. Everybody wants to talk about De'Aaron Fox, LeBron James. This man, Trae, dog, he's averaging 28 and 11. 28 and 11. He's having the best defensive year of his career. He's actually becoming a serviceable defensive player. This dude should be an all-star starter. I'll just go ahead and say it. He is one of the best point guards in the league. He's playing like one of the best point guards in the league. He has been better than probably any other point guard you can name besides Luka Doncic and Stephen Curry. And even then, Stephen Curry, him and Steph might even be close as far as I'm concerned, given that the Warriors have been terrible this year. And the Hawks have been pretty mid too, but the Warriors just look really, really bad. Trae's been playing like an all-star. He's been playing like an all-NBA level player, and you would think the Atlanta Hawks would be winning, but no, they're not. And what's the problem with that? Well, they can't defend a pole. Like they can't defend a scratching pole. They can't defend anything, and you would think that DeJounte Murray would solve that problem, but it's been the complete opposite. You got to get DeJounte Murray out of there. Him and Trae Young are possibly not the worst fit in the league, but they're not a good fit either. Personally, I think Atlanta should go after a player like Walker Kessler, Matisse Thybulle, Lauri Markkanen. Walker Kessler is an amazing defender. He's 7 feet tall, somebody who can get you 3 to 4 blocks a game. I think Atlanta needs that really, really badly. There's no point in having perimeter defense if you can't protect the rim. I'm just drive past you and lay the ball up. Like, it's going to be that easy. And I love Clint Capella, but Clint Capella is too small. He's too old. I would like Matisse Thybulle in Atlanta uniform, though. I think Matisse Thybulle is a great perimeter defender. He's somebody who has a strict role, 3-and-D guy. I think him next to Trae Young, whether he comes off the bench or starts, is a really good thing. And Lauri Markkanen. Atlanta's problem this whole couple years, the entire Trae Young rebuilding, seasoning process has been a lack of post scoring. Lack of post scoring. Complete lack. John Collins was good, but he's not 20 points a game. Prime Clint Capella was good, but he's 15 and 10. I need 25. I need 23. I don't need 20 and I don't need 15 and 10. I don't need 13 and 5. I don't need that from my big guys. When you go into the playoffs, you're going to be playing against bigs. You're going to be playing against people who can score in the post. You got to find a way to defend that and address that problem if you're Atlanta. Now, my last thing before I wrap up this episode, they need to move on from DJ and Clint Capella. I don't think they fit anymore. I'll tell you straight up, I think Clint Capella is just too old. I think he needs to be on a team where he can come off the bench and play more of a bench role than a starting lineup role. DeJounte Murray is a good dude, man. He's a fantastic player. I think he should be an all-star. He would be an all-star if he was on any other team right now. What we've learned about Trae Young and DeJounte is that they both need the ball in their hands. And with both of them on the same team, that's impossible. DeJounte Murray is... he can't be his best self in a role that does not require him having the ball the whole time. And that's okay. Because Trae Young can't do it either. You need to get those guys away from each other. You need to put DJ in a place where he can be the main guy. You need to put Trae in Atlanta, preferably, where he can be the main guy. That's what I think Atlanta Hawks need to do. I think their coaching has been pretty good. I think they've actually had a pretty good team. They figured out who Trae Young is and how he operates. Now it's on the management to execute, essentially, to get the dude the pieces he needs to be successful. And while I don't claim to know everything, I know something about a lot of things. And I think the additions of Walker Kessler, Matisse Thybulle, Lauri Markkanen, and possibly others would be really, really, really big for the Atlanta Hawks this success going into the future. But that's going to end my Atlanta Sports Chronicle for today. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn the notification bell. You guys help me out a little bit. Go ahead and view TikTok. I'm going to start putting a lot more smaller videos on there. So news that you don't see break on here that is big, like UGA just getting a transfer receiver from Vanderbilt. That actually just happened maybe 2 minutes before I decided to record this video. So you guys definitely go check that out. I'm going to try and get my my videos and podcasts back on things like Buzzsprout, back on Apple Podcasts, stuff like that. So if you want to listen while you're in the car, go ahead. Feel free. I would really, really appreciate it. I love the support. Without further ado, I wish you guys nothing but the best. Stay love, stay blessed. I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching.